Thanks everybody for attending this wonderful little celebration of our very first ever Intern for a Day. I'm so happy that all of you could join us today and be a part of this event. This is just a reminder that we're going to record this session, so we can make this available to students who might be interested in participating in Intern for a Day, and even professionals, so they can hear a little bit more about other people's experiences and what they might be able to get out of an Intern for a Day experience. And so before I, chat too much about the program and share some numbers, I want to definitely give some time for the team, the dream team that made this happen, to introduce themselves. We have some really incredible people a part of this, and I want to give them a chance to say hello. And I'll just start because I'm already talking. My name is Erin Sherrill, and I am the Director for Career Development. I know many, many, many of you, and look forward to getting to know some of these new students that I haven't gotten to meet yet. Asia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Asia Anderson. I'm the Assistant Director here in Career Development. Those that I know, hi. Those that I don't know, hi. Welcome.
I'm Nicole Kang. I am an alum. I graduated in 2013, and I've recently joined the Career Development team as the Employer Relations Manager. So happy to see everyone.
I'm Stephanie Selkowski. I'm also an alum. 1989. I'm just, a tad bit older than Nicole. And I've been a volunteer career coach in career development for about 4 years now. I love it. Good to see everybody.
I'm Mary BenaldiWin. I'm the Director of Alumni Relations, and this has been a great team to work with. We've been very excited about this project, and I want to thank everybody who participated, and especially our volunteers. Thank you so much for being a part of our first effort.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it really, without the help of these remarkable women, this event would not have happened the way that it did, from just kind of reimagining what this could look like during a pandemic and in a remote space, because ideally we would do something like this in person, and it would have a different sort of feel. But we thought about what could make sense now, what would be useful to students, and just kind of restructured things for the best. And we've heard some great feedback so far already in the evaluations, and we look forward to hearing some more feedback. So please feel free to share if you haven't already. And I think Intern for a Day would ideally be something where we get to be in person. Students can go on site, get, dip their toe into what it's like to, just admitting, Tony, what it's like to engage with an employer and be on site, and what experiential learning means. And, I think in this space, in a virtual space where, everybody's concerned about being too close to one another, being able to connect through Zoom or over the phone is a great opportunity for students to just start having these conversations. And so I'm happy to report that our participation in this was really excellent. We had a total of 83 participants in this program, which we feel really outstanding about. There were 46 student participants. So yay, students, for taking control of your networking and, really getting out ahead of this. And we had 37 volunteers, which is amazing. Thank you to our professional volunteers for being a part of this, and for giving some of your time and your expertise in helping to engage with students and get them excited about networking and experiential learning. And I want to do a quick shout out because we have 4 very young alumni volunteers who served as professionals and met with students during this time. I'm not sure if everybody's on. I saw Jay for sure, but Kale Coppage and Abby Jackman LaForge were 2 of the first students I saw graduate at Oglethorpe when I started my very first year here. And not long after that, we saw Stephen Johnson and Jay Millen graduate. So I just wanted to say a real special thank you to you all for getting in on this early, and coming back even as young alumni to give to students and to share some of your experience and expertise. So thank you for that. And, because we had such a great event, we're really excited to do this again. So we do plan to do this in our spring semester. So feel free to start spreading the word to your friends, both students and professionals who might want to be involved in this. And we're going to be aiming for a late March, early April match day. So keep an eye out on your inboxes for more information about that. So without further ado, I want this to be an opportunity for us to talk a little bit and for some people to share about their experience. We have some great volunteers who are going to share today. But I would love to start with our new president, Dr. Nick Ladany, to just say a couple of words, and I'll let you take it over.
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you, Erin, and thank you to your team who did an amazing job. I also want to do a special call out to Randy Roberson, he and I were talking in one of our meetings, and he came up with this thought around this intern for the day and mentioned how it's happening at the University of Maryland, which so happens to be where I went as an undergraduate. And I went and then asked Erin and talked with Michelle a little bit, then Erin, and I was like, wow, it really worked. They're going to actually do it. And then I realized someone had said to me, you're the president. When you ask something, people actually will respond. And so I'm getting used to that now. So I got to be careful what I ask for. I didn't ask for like 2 interns for the day in the same week. And but Erin and her team have done a great job. And I also want to thank all the volunteers as well as all the students. This was a real community effort. I think a lot of good has come out of this. And frankly, I think this is a long-term model that we can consider in the future. We can certainly do the in-person, and we can certainly continue to do a traditional internship over a semester. But I do think this is another opportunity. The more we get our students in front of folks in the professional fields, I think the better it's going to be for them, and the better it is, frankly, for all of us. And a lot of you know that I'm a first-generation college student, and I got to tell you, I was in college at the University of Maryland, and I think it was a semester before I had the nerve to ask one of my friends, who was an engineer major, what is engineering? I had no idea. It sounded like a lot of effort to work on a train at the time, but now I look back and, part of the deal was I really just didn't understand fields and professions. And so having this exposure early on really does make a difference. Not only because it sometimes brings people into a profession, it sometimes lets people know early enough that, maybe that's not what I want to do. And that's okay too. Part of career exploration is learning what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and then maybe what you might want to do. And so my hope is that it opens up the eyes and opportunities for our students, but also helps them start to define their career development. And when I think about Oglethorpe, I ask the question a lot. I ask about the business school. I ask about Oglethorpe. What makes us distinctive and distinguished? And 4 things keep coming up. First, liberal arts core, that we have we're a liberal arts university, so we really do educate people for a life, not for a specific profession. And when you think about the current state of affairs in our culture worldwide, frankly, jobs are going to be going away. In fact, there's some research to show that about 70% of jobs as they currently exist will not exist 10 years from now. They'll be replaced with other things. But what a liberal arts education does is it prepares our students to meet that emerging need 10 years from now, when the job they think they're going to be in is no longer there, but there will be something else they can move into. So liberal arts is number 1. Number 2 is our strong commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a core foundational value for us, and it's something I think we do quite well. As every university, we're a work in progress, but I think we're doing quite well overall. And if you look at our student body in particular, where we have 51% students of color, I think that's outstanding for any small liberal arts university. The third area is the idea of being interdisciplinary, and this is where students get a wide variety of experiences. I was just talking with some theater faculty and music faculty this morning, and just the opportunity our students get and the options down the line for them to get. Specifically today, we were talking about music entertainment and music and business. And these are the kind of things that emerge out of a place like Oglethorpe. And then the fourth area, which really is center for the Intern for the Day model, is an applied approach to learning. That our students don't just kind of have a theoretical ivory tower understanding of education and what education can do. It's really grounded in things that they can take with them throughout their lives. And Intern for the Day really feeds into that and is a big part of that. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who participated. It means the world to all of us, and specifically our students. It makes a difference. And with that, I will turn it back. Is it Aaron, you're next, or I will let you guys. Thank you again for including me.
Thank you, President Ladany, so much. And so we want to continue some of the conversation. We've got a couple professional volunteers that participated that may say a few words and some reflections on their experience with their students. And then we have a couple students that will be sharing also. So up next, we have Randy Roberson, Kimberly Odell, we have Ashish, Thakur, and Dabney Daniel, and then Ashrakat Hassan and Lacey Frye. So we'll go ahead and start maybe with Randy.
Sure, great. Thank you all. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be with you. I made some notes. It's only 12 pages, so you'll be okay. It won't take that long. I'm Randy Roberson. I'm a proud alumnus of the class of 1997. I'm also honored to be a member of the Oglethorpe Board of Trustees. My day job, I'm the Vice President for Leadership Development at the National Association of College and University Business Officers in Washington, D.C. And I'm Zooming with you today from my home office in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. We've been working from home since March 13th, and we're going to be here until at least June the 1st at the earliest, before we'll be going back to our offices in D.C. And I'm just thrilled that all of you have participated in the launch of Oglethorpe's Intern for a Day program. As Dr. Ladany said earlier, I've been participating in the Intern for a Day program with my grad school alma mater, University of Maryland, for a number of years. I've hosted students in my office in DC and introduced them to my colleagues who have much more interesting jobs than I do most days. But we've talked about all the different career options that are available working in a membership association like the one where I work. We have tax attorneys, we have graphic designers, we have a bunch of folks who are music majors who are not doing music, but they're doing other stuff in our office. So, I couldn't be more excited that we've launched this program at Oglethorpe. And I just hope that one day maybe I'll get to host a few of you in our offices in DC, have you come up for the day and spend some time with us. As I shared with Christina and Sahara when we met last week, my internships, I had 2 of them, I think, maybe 3, but I think it was 2 that I had when I was a student in Oglethorpe. They led directly to my first job and launched my career. At Oglethorpe, I was a history major and a music minor. I was in the very first cohort of the Rich Foundation Urban Leadership Program. And I wasn't planning, like many history majors, on going to law school or grad school at the time. So I wasn't sure exactly where I would have ended up had I not had my internship in the press office of the governor of Georgia. Yes, Governor Zell Miller that invented the Hope Scholarship Program that so many of us benefited from. It was just an awesome opportunity that led to a job. The press secretary came to me. I had this internship my junior year. At the end of the internship, he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to finish Oglethorpe next year." He said, "Well, what are you doing work-wise?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "We'd love to have you come in and work hourly with us, as many hours as you can give us throughout your senior year." And then I went full-time after I graduated from Oglethorpe. So you never know. But like many of you, I wasn't sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I do know that my Oglethorpe experience, the courses I took, the activities I was involved in, my professors, my friends, and the connections I made with alumni like Mike Selkowski and Stephanie Selkowski and so many other alumni, all these connections and experiences have played just a huge part in whatever success it is that I've had. So students, know that there are many Oglethorpe alumni, trustees, and other friends of the university who want you to be successful. We want you to shine. We want to help you start your careers or figure out whether grad school or law school or med school is where you need to be. Don't be afraid to reach out to us. We want to help you. And yeah, some of us have titles like CEO, president, vice president, whatever. We're just regular people like you are, We put our shoes on, not when we're working from home necessarily, but we put our shoes on just like the rest of you. Remember, we didn't start with those titles, and we were, like I said, we were in your shoes, and we got to where we are with hard work and the help of lots of other people along the way. And staff, I hope you heard me too. We love the alumni events and the gatherings, but more importantly, we want to be a resource to the students. We want them to succeed. So let us know how we can be helpful. Reach out to us. And thank you all for this opportunity to share a few words. I'm so proud to be a Stormy Petrel, and I am so excited that we launched this program in Oglethorpe. So thanks.
Hello, everyone. Kimberly Odell. I am a graduate of 2010. I also had the honor of sitting on the board of trustees. I started out as the young alum perspective representative and now have transitioned more to an advisory role, but did want to say thank you to everyone who participated. I know it can be a little intimidating, thinking about what's going to happen after you graduate, or even if you're younger, what are you going to do, for the next 3 or 4 years to make yourself succeed. And I echo everything that Randy just said about the fact that Oglethorpe is such a great resource for individuals to speak to, people to bounce ideas off of, connection points. Just like Randy, he actually spoke about working in the internship for Zell Miller, and I have carried along that tradition by actually working for a company called IGT, International Gaming Technology, but they work on behalf of the Georgia Lottery, which funds that Hope Scholarship. So, these are the kind of things that really those connections, are intertwined, but also my first role was actually working for a company called IHG, Intercontinental Hotels Group, that I got through my big sister in the sorority. So, you end up finding a lot of those connection points just simply through the people that you get to know at Oglethorpe. And the best part is our community is very, it's robust, it's very in-depth, but it's very personal. So, you're not reaching out to someone who there's hundreds of thousands of people that probably, can say, oh, I go to X, Y, and Z school. You're reaching out to a former, a fellow Stormy Petrel, which is really a personal connection that you can make, which is why I think that this program was so great to engage with. It was funny because I don't think that I've been that long out of school, but then I do realize that I have been out of school for quite a while. When you sit down with a student, I had the opportunity to meet with Doris Gonzalez, who's a senior getting ready to graduate. And she really said something that stuck with me when we were talking about, what is she concerned about? And she simply said, I really think about how am I going to transition from being a full-time student to being a full-time worker? And that's something that I hadn't thought about in a really long time, just simply because it's been a while since I graduated from university. But it is a big transition going from, having classes a couple times a day to sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, which now it may be in our pajamas, but it's still, being accountable for 8 hours a day at a role. So, that's definitely something that I think that it not only helps us as alum understand where you're coming from as a, as a student, but really the biggest piece of advice that I gave to her was, you can do a lot more than you ever think that you can. And so while it may feel very intimidating to go into a, a full-time business role or whatever it is that you decide to do, most of the time you find out that that transition is a lot easier than you think it's going to be, just simply because you've actually been preparing for this the entirety of your college career. You just didn't realize it, whether it's being responsible for going to classes, to turning in assignments on time, to interacting with other students who you may not necessarily agree with, or you may agree with and want to collaborate with. So all of those types of things really translate into moving into that next step after graduation. You just need to have the confidence that you can do it, which you can, and you find out quickly once you get into the professional world that that's actually something that you're ready for. You just may not have known it already.
So great work, Asia, Aaron, Nicole, Stephanie, Mary, Kim Odell. Awesome. Thank you for your support and energy. Randy is a mentor of mine. I love his, you never know. Also, Stephanie and Mike, have taught me to be a great leader and OU philanthropist. Cliff Foster, who's on the call, amazing mentor of mine as well. So this experience, Oglethorpe, man, you guys, we just kill it when it comes to recruiting amazing talent. I talked to Lacey, who's a freshman, and Wyatt, who's a sophomore, and just superstars. It was just amazing to learn from them. I learned more from them, I think, than they learned from me. And the goal of IFAD for me was relationships. It's all about relationships. Form these relationships now with alumni, your high school, your college. I told them to open up a Google spreadsheet and just track your relationships, follow up or fail. That was one of the core messages that I sent is, at Oglethorpe, I formed great relationships with professors, with students. I actually, at my wedding, I invited 3 professors from Oglethorpe to my wedding. 2 showed up, which was great. So relationship was my core thesis when connecting with these students. But it was such a pleasure. I can't wait to do this again. I have committed to send them to build their Rolodex, really. And my takeaway was follow up or fail. If you don't follow up with alumni, you don't follow up with people, you don't build that relationship. Where I come from, it's not what you do, it's who you are, right? So I want to know about 3 things: your family, food, and geography. Like, where are you from, what you like to eat, and your family. Then I'll learn what you do later. And I told him, when you go to any sort of networking event, wedding, social engagement, spend 30 minutes with 3 people, not 3 minutes with 30 people. So that's my commercial for IFAD. Also, on the philanthropy note, I've increased my donation during the pandemic to OU. So I encourage all the Petros on this call to do the same. And I'll stop there.
Take it away. Thanks, Ashish.
Thank you, Aaron. This has been a good project, and I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot of things, and I think Cassandra, my intern, learned some too, but we enjoyed the time together. I learned where Moldova is in Eastern Europe, Cassandra's hometown, and I met my first presidential scholar, and that's also Cassandra. So I became involved because I want to know the students better. I'm on the advisory council, and this is a meaningful way to get to know the students. My experience personally with internships was a good one. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I interned for a bank, a farming service company, a congressman in Washington, and none of those appealed to me. So my career went in a completely different direction. If I were to tell students about what I would suggest to do, I would suggest that you take that message that I just gave you, even though banking and farming and politics weren't right for me. I made contacts at each of those stops that I stayed with, I kept, and they all helped me later. So people want to help if you will just ask them, and stay in touch with them. As Ashish said, stay in touch and keep them posted on what you're doing. The only surprise in terms of the project that I found was that despite COVID, you can still meet new people and add your career contacts. And I think that's an important lesson.
So we have a few more minutes left, and I definitely want to hear from a couple of our students. So we've got Ashrakat on the call, and we've got Lacey. So if either of you want to jump in and just share a little bit about your experience and what your takeaways are from this event.
The whole Intern for a Day program was really enticing to me because it humanized the process of networking and getting to know people. As a freshman, I spent 2 years at another institution, and so college really isn't new to me, but the whole finding a job after college was really daunting. And I really wanted to hear from someone who has gone through Oglethorpe, understood the process, has been in my shoes before, and will understand that it's okay. You will make it, you will do your best, you are where you're supposed to be. And Kil Coppage, who was my professional, really helped that. I wanted to go to law school, and law school is a big step, and it takes a lot of patience and experience, and it's a big deal. but he also humanized that process. He walked me through the application process, what's important during cold calls, lectures, all of that stuff. So having someone who has been through the Oglethorpe experience and gotten a law school, he's a 3L, so he's almost out of there. Everything from fellowships to internships to finding a job, networking, all of those advice really helped me understand that it's going to be okay. I think that was the most important thing that Intern for a Day showed me, that, you know, as a freshman, you are open to so many possibilities and opportunities, take advantage of them, but also look to the future and know that you have someone in your corner at all times in the Oglethorpe community to help you get there. So that was really the biggest takeaway that I had. Someone's always in my corner, and I appreciate this community for giving me that chance.
Thanks for sharing that, Ashrakat. I think maybe Stephanie might have coined this term, nobody helps a petrol like a petrol. And, you know, in my time here, I think that is absolutely true. And it's a very special place to be in, a special community to be a part of. Lacey, hi, take it away.
Hi, so I met with Ashish, who was just wonderful, as we all know. And I really enjoyed the whole process because I hadn't going into this known exactly what I wanted to do. I had a lot of ideas, but I had never really settled on one particular area. And Ashish helped a lot with his advice. As he said, follow up or fail. He talked all about how growing up, he always had been surrounded by engineers and things like that. And so he had thought he needed to go down that path, but then realized physics and math and statistics were not for him. And that he wanted a lot more of a personal relationship with people. So he had majored in business and economics and went into finance and banking, then went to a failed tech startup, and now he's working at the Atlanta CEO Council, and he's really found that he's starting to thrive there. And he's always using his, I really admired his outlook and his perspective, because he said that he doesn't really like the term networking. He likes the idea of forging relationships and being able to help others. And I can already see how kind and generous and giving he is, because he's always following up and trying to cash in any of the favors that he has to help other people out. He said he never goes through the front door. You always go through a back door or a window. You always find your way in and use those relationships to your advantage. And I just really like that idea. And he said, yeah, food, family, geography, talk about those things, and don't be afraid to connect to people and to reach out and make new mentors. He has mentors who are 64 and mentors who are 24. He said he goes up and down both streams.
How do you remember all this, Lacey? Oh my God.
and that
like of happiness. This is amazing, Lacey. My gosh, you're my commercial. I don't need to ever work again. Oh my God. Emotional moment. Sorry.
No, you're good. And the marriage of STEM and STEAM, how our liberal arts education really prepares you for everything more than any individual major can. So if you want to change careers later, that's fine. You can be whoever you want to be and do what you want in life without having to be defined by one thing. So I really appreciated the opportunity and the advice.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, Lacey. And this just goes to show that the value of networking goes both ways, right? You know, students have so much value that we can give to, I'm a student, to the professionals too, right? We can learn from those who have less experience than us, and we can learn from those who have more. And so, I just thank you everybody for sharing these messages and stories are just really powerful. And for me, I'm tearing up a little bit hearing some of these things, especially what Lacey said. So it's just really a special time to be able to make these relationships. And I think that something like this is one of the silver linings of this weird virtual space that we're in. We're able to connect with people all across the country and across the world a lot easier because video chatting is normal now. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody for engaging in this, for giving your time, for making the most of it, for caring about your Petrel community. This has just been really a special time, and definitely keep in mind that we're going to do this in the spring. We're really looking forward to it, and to see the next class of Intern for a Day volunteers and students. And just a last little reminder, complete your evaluations if you haven't done so already, and give us some feedback so we can continue to evolve and make this program super duper valuable for everybody who gets to be a part of it. So Thanks all for coming on a Friday afternoon. I hope you have a great, great weekend.